It was requested.
Oh, I already moved it. June second, Landon is done Friday. So June second.
We need to have it up and running.
He's over in.
So what's, we're broadcasting,
We are on
There.
we're online right now, yes, we're broadcasting.
Friday.
just enough.
Friday. And then he's done or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice.
No, you no, you don't need to do that.
Unless you're buying dinner.
How are you?
I'll call you tomorrow. I mean, I'm working getting more information.
Okay. Are we gonna,
And I think what I'm gonna try to do is for the June meeting, to have some content to share with everybody. But from a personnel standpoint, I'm gonna talk about the mayor about some things.
How are you?
From a personnel standpoint, having a little bit.
okay. No, that's at 3:30.
Right, yeah, and it can be here, via Teams. They're not gonna be here, we'll meet with them remote video conference, right, yeah. That'd be good.
Are these our permanent seating arrangements now?
They are numerical 1 through 6,
What, in order?
yeah.
Okay.
You're very happy. You're very happy. No, you shouldn't. We're in order. We're in 1 through 6.
That's what I did too. That's okay, I could.
I might need a package.
It is green today.
Oh, is it green?
Oh,
I
so did the,
I had this up and
I
running.
thought I had them.
Oh, well, they must have gotten, they must have ordered you a new
in
one.
tomorrow.
If they're just,
Jude, if you want to leave it with me, I can have them look at yours tomorrow.
I had it going for them. You know, you can't have anything share with you. I used to show my.
Hey, Joe.
I thought they put me on the end because of the big ball.
Well, yeah, all Aloha.
Anybody want water if I find any?
Yeah, nice of all.
Okay, anybody else?
Good, thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, good, you all right? Sorry.
How are you?
Good. He looks happy to be here. Good.
Didn't see you down there. You're okay, yes. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Oh, sure, perfect.
Thanks. We're gonna do special and we'll do public work. So you're first after the,
Good.
it'll be, we'll do the special meeting, then public works, and personnel, 6 o'clock. Everybody, welcome to the City of Mayville Common Council special meeting, Monday, May 22nd, 6 p.m. Would you please take the roll?
Alderperson Kim Olson.
Here.
Alderperson Kenneth Newman.
Here.
Alderperson Roger Smith.
Here.
Alderperson Michael Schmidt.
Here.
Alderperson Joseph Tillman.
Here.
Alderperson Jack Abbott.
Here.
Thank you.
Forum is present. Let's do the pledge.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any citizen comments this evening for the special common council meeting? Citizen comments are to be kept to a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker unless the chairperson allows an extension of time. Each citizen is to make comments at the podium after stating name and address. Each citizen may comment at one time per public hearing or meeting.
Elijah Reese, 505 Grove Street. So I wanted to address a few things. I'm gonna read from the statute. Unless specifically authorized by statute, no secret ballot may be used to determine any election or other decision except election of a body's own officers. Wisconsin statute section 19.88 subsection 1. Therefore, although section 19.88 allows the common council to use a secret ballot to elect the council president, it does not allow a council to vote by secret ballot to fill a vacancy on the council or to select any other municipal official. On April 24th, 2023, the agenda stated, discuss with possible action the frequency of the city attorney's presence at the city meetings. There was a discussion under this agenda item speaking to the concern of the cost of having said attorney present. Alderman Roger Smith stated that he was in favor of saving city dollars if we think we can use it on an as-all basis. Anastasia wanted to inform the council that she does send the city attorney the agenda in advance. Wynn stated that if there were a matter of policy, if anyone going into a meeting or prior to has an issue with an item on the agenda that they'd like to have viewed in advance to let the city hall know, and that no one will be reached. The former Alderman Bob Smith's point, this was already the previous policy. Kim Olson made the motion to change the existing policy to only have the city attorney upon request. The motion was seconded by Jack Abbott. The motion passed unanimously. Since this meeting on April 24th, the city attorney had attended all but one meeting. On May 11th, 2023, the agenda read, discuss with possible action options for filling aldermanic vacancies in Ward 2 and 5. This discussion was moved to action by using a sealed vote process. During this time, Nolan did state that there was a statute to take notice of. That statute being the one that I have already read. His legal advice was that he would caution against using this method. Nolan then goes on to say that you can either do a voice vote or do it by paper ballot, but then have it read into the record who votes and for whom. The council voted to continue on with the secret ballot to fill the council seats. And once completed, Anastasia did not read the names of who voted for whom into the record. Everyone participated in the secret ballot, though I will mention Alderman Roger Smith voted nay for this method. The presiding officer did not have much input during this time. Nolan did a great job trying to gather information quickly once the paper ballot idea was brought up. He did his due diligence by offering the legal advice necessary. My question to the council is, if we're spending $400 to $600 per meeting to have Nolan present, why are we not taking his legal advice? I'd also like to point out that on May 11th's agenda, it stated, discuss with possible action options for filling aldermanic vacancies from Ward 2 and 5. The action taken was supposed to be deciding on the option the council was going to take moving forward to fill these vacancies. A separate item should have been added to the agenda to use said option. The open meetings law exists for the public to have full access to the council's actions in real time for transparency's sake. That transparency was openly violated with both of these actions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizen comments? All right. Items for discussion on possible action. First item is mayor's comments. Welcome, Joe Tillman, Ken Newman. Thank you for your service. Look forward to getting you sworn in tonight. It's a new chapter for the city of Mayville, opportunity to work together on key initiatives to improve both Mayville city government while also continuing to focus on maintaining Mayville as a great place to raise a family, great place to live, work, and play. I am going to be making committee assignments this evening, given the significant number of issues that need to be addressed as it relates to or involving the finance committee. From this point, probably through the end of the year, each finance committee meeting will be a meeting of the whole, because I want to have each ward have the ability to provide input as we make decisions as it relates to how to improve the financial record keeping and other aspects of what we've got to work on. On that note, during the month of June, I anticipate a few different things are going to be happening. We will get an initial report from our auditor, Sikich. They'll provide some findings and what they've seen in reviewing and investigating the city's finances and the discrepancies that were found. We also will anticipate getting our audit from Baker Tilly. It's important to note that while Baker Tilly has helped perhaps narrow the spread in terms of the funds that are misallocated or whatever it may be, we haven't reduced that to zero. So one thing that the council is going to have to make a decision on is whether you effectively force balance the books and we start at square one with the best information that we have on hand. But these are things that we're going to have to decide, going forward. So more details to follow. I have Angie's resignation, which was tendered a number of weeks ago. has culminated in what is now a 2 weeks notice. So Angie has done a phenomenal job for the city. Unfortunately, due to a number of circumstances, Angie is leaving. And that is going to be a tough spot to fill. However, Sikich does have some capacity for staff augmentation to help us keep things going, keep things rolling. And there's a lot of work for us to do. So in Angie's report in the finance agenda, we'll talk more about, you know, what all is involved and what all entails, but certainly not good news. And Angie, I just want to say I appreciate everything you've done. So, that is my mayor's comments. The second item tonight is the swearing in and oath of office for Ward 2 Alderperson Joseph Tillman.
I, Joseph Tillman, having been elected or appointed to the office of City Manager of Mayville, Ward 2 Alderperson, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Congratulations.
Number 3, swearing in oath of office of Ward 5 Alderperson Ken Newman.
I, Kenneth Newman, have been elected or appointed to the city of, or office City of Mayville, Ward 5 Alderperson, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God. Thanks.
Item 4, council election for council president. Would anyone care to make a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Ken Newman.
Nomination by Kim Olson.
Nominate Michael.
Let's, is there a second on Ken Newman?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion by Olson, second by Abbott. Any other nominations?
I nominate Michael.
Michael Schmidt. Is there a second? Second? All right. All in favor of? Is any further discussion? And we'll take the vote. All in favor of Alderman Ken Newman as council president? All in favor, say aye.
I,
All right, opposed? All right, Ken Newman.
That's getting your feet wet right away. isn't it?
There you go, there you go. Jump right in. Item number 5. Council election for council representative on the planning commission. Can I get a nomination?
I nominate Joe Tillman.
I second that.
All right. Nomination for Joe Tillman. By Alderman Smith. Second by Alderman Newman. Are there any other nominations? All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, Alderman Tillman. To the planning commission. All right, the following, item 6, mayoral appointments to finance, public safety, and public works committees. All right, so for finance, Roger Smith, you are the chairman. Joe Tillman and Ken Newman are on finance committee. For public safety, Michael Schmidt is the chairman. Ken Newman, Kim Olson on public safety. Public works, Jack Abbott, you are the chair. Joe Tillman, Kim Olson. Personnel is the same, no changes on personnel.
Correct.
Okay, and that is just for records. It's Michael Schmidt, Chair, Roger Smith, and Jack Abbott on personnel. And we'll send you an email. Okay. All right. Resolution 5869-2023, appointments to the Community Development Authority Committee, the council members. Whereas the term of Alderperson Bob Smith on the Community Development Authority Committee will expire as of April 16, 2024. Whereas pursuant to Resolution 5856-2023, Alderperson Joseph Reese was appointed to the Community Development Authority Committee with a term set to expire April 30th, 2024. Whereas both Alderperson Bob Smith and Alderperson Joseph Reese each tendered their respective resignations as elected official for the city of Mayville on April 30th, 2023. And whereas in accordance with Resolution 1948-1990, the mayor shall appoint subject to confirmation of the common council, and therefore the mayor hereby appoints Alderperson Jack Abbott and Alderperson Joseph Tillman to each serve on the Community Development Authority Committee with terms expiring April 30th, 2024. And now therefore be it resolved that the common council of the city of Mayville does hereby approve the above mentioned mayoral appointments to the Community Development Authority Committee passed by the common council of the city of Mayville this 22nd day of May, 2023. Could I get a motion?
So move.
Motion by Alderman Schmidt,
Second.
second by Smith. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you. Resolution, it's item 8, resolution 5870-2023, appointment to the Water and Wastewater Commission, council member. Whereas the term of Alderperson Bob Smith on the Water Wastewater Commission will expire as of April 30th, 2024. And whereas Alderperson Bob Smith tendered his resignation as elected official for the city of Mayville on April 30th, 2023. And whereas in accordance with Resolution 1948-1990, the mayor shall appoint subject to confirmation of the common council. And therefore the mayor hereby appoints Alderperson Kenneth Newman to serve on the Water Wastewater Commission for the remainder of the aforementioned term expiring April 30th, 2024. And now therefore be it resolved that the common council of the city of Mayville does hereby approve the above mentioned mayoral appointment to the Water and Wastewater Commission passed by the common council of the city of Mayville this 22nd day of May, 2023.
So move.
Motion by Schmidt,
Second.
second by Smith. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? Motion carries. Take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Schmidt,
Second.
Newman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Adjourn and next up is Public Works.
Well, Public Works Committee meeting, May 22nd, 2022, 6:16. Call the roll.
Alderperson Jack Abbott,
Aye.
Alderperson Kim Olson,
Here.
Alderperson Joseph Tillman.
Here.
The Item number 2. I get a motion to approve the minutes of April 24th, 23 meeting.
I'll move to approve the April 24th, 2023 minutes.
Second that. All in favor?
I,
Aye. Citizen comments. Do we have any citizen comments regarding public works?
My name is Mike Schmidt. Is it on?
No, it's fine. Just project your voice. It doesn't turn on.
All right. My name is Mike Schmidt. I live at 422 Short Street here in Mayville. My wife and I moved here in April of 1996. Saturday, I had the privilege of taking part in the bulk drop-off over here behind the wastewater plant. I filled in a trailer with all the junk from my basement and my garage and towed it over to the wastewater plant. And there was a line in front, I thought I got there early. There was a line in front of me a country mile long. But despite that line, the public works employees that were working there were very efficient. They helped people unload their cars and trucks and their trailers. And they operated these huge front end loaders and got the stuff in these 8-foot high containers. It was a very efficient operation. So efficient that I was in and out of there in 15, 20 minutes. I mean, it was really unbelievable. But these guys really worked hard. And that made me contemplate all of our city employees. You've got police officers that are patrolling the streets day and night, responding to accidents, man with gun, so on and so forth. And they even go to such mundane things as domestic violence, probably one of the most dangerous things that they respond to. And they do it willingly, which is surprising sometimes. But anyhow, they do a great job. You got firefighters. These guys are all volunteers. And they have their regular jobs that they work for their families to feed their families. And yet when that alarm bell rings or when that phone call comes, they jump in their cars and report to the firehouse or some right to the scene. And they willingly run right into burning buildings, or they go into buildings where there's gas leaks, all kinds of things that are extremely dangerous that you and I would probably never think of doing. But yet they do it willingly and voluntarily. They do a terrific job. And then you've got the public works employees that started this whole thing with me. They plow the streets in the wintertime at 2, 3 in the morning, 10 below zero, when the rest of us are all snug in our little beds. And they willingly are out there and they work hard. They pick up the leaves in the fall, they repair streets, potholes and stuff like that. And they put up signs, they do all kinds of things so that we in the city can live here safely and comfortably. And then, of course, there's the wastewater department. They keep our sewers and our water running freely. They work hard. The winter time, you'll see them knee deep in mud holes repairing broken water lines. 10 below zero. They don't want to do that, but they do it. And then you've got our administrative people, the gals and the guys and stuff like that, that work in the office buildings throughout the city of Mayville. They are the very heartblood of this entire operation. They keep everything running smoothly. They do the typing and the report writing and answering telephones, citizens that call in for things. And some of them even get us paid. So another terrific job done. Am I forgetting anybody? If I did, I'm apologizing. But anyhow, to me, our city employees are some of the best in the world. They work hard. They're dedicated. And they come here to fight. Sometimes a lot of complaints about them and so on and so forth, but they're here every day and they're terrific. And I wouldn't trade any one of them. As an alderman, I would like to say, job well done. As a citizen, I want to say thank you. Thank you for making Mayville a place that I am proud to live in.
Thank you, Mike. Any other comments? Okay, moving on, monthly utilities report. Yep. Courtney.
I have Courtney's report.
Okay,
Notes for water, she said the full system hydrant flushing is posted and has begun. After this round of flushing, they will have flow information for the entire system updated and available on GIS mapping. The annual PSC report for 2022 has been submitted. The water loss percentage for 2022 is at 10%. Results for their first round of PFAS, the forever chemical testing, were all coming back at no detect. So no further monitoring is required in 2023. For the wastewater, a laboratory audit was done by the DNR. It went well, and they'll be getting the written report soon on that. And they were delivered a notice of non-compliance for the 4-1 treatment facility overflow. A written response is required to the DNR by the 26th of May.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Courtney. Next, engineering and planning, are you Nick as
Trade
well?
finance, yeah.
Okay.
Nick has for 231 Breckenridge, the proposed martial arts studio. The owner has reached out looking to potentially start working on this again. They're waiting for the property owner to submit the conditional use permit for review. 2023 street and utility projects. Crew Check has been awarded the bid for the project. Contracts are being sent out for signatures, and they will coordinate with the contractor to set a pre-con meeting date. 2023 PMP project. The county is looking to repay County Highway B next year. Preliminary estimates shared by the county put the city's cost of this around $25,000. The project was awarded to Northeast Asphalt. They will hold a pre-con meeting with the contractor to set the timeline for the work. Hilltop Drive development. The site plan was reviewed and approved by the Plan Commission. The owner is working on permits to get started. The Poplar Grove development, also known as the Dayton Street Apartments. Town and Country has started installing utilities for that apartment development. The Clark Street development, a proposed development for the south 5 acres of the Mayville Healthcare Realty. Plan Commission is still reviewing the proposed development. Leona Street development. A development is being proposed for the lots adjacent to and using the underdeveloped Leona Street right of way. The Planning Commission is still reviewing the proposed development. River Knoll Industrial Park. A proposed seed storage facility has been proposed for lot 5 of the replat of lot 10. Further information is being gathered for the proposed development. And an area around Williams Street is being looked at as a potential rezone. There are currently single-family houses that are zoned RM multifamily. Further information is being collected on the parcels in the zoned area. That's all I can.
That's it. Thank you. Jack, Public Works, please.
Good evening. Michael, thank you for that. We appreciate it. All of us at the DPW.
That's every bit of it.
Jack, they do have your printouts.
Okay, thank you. We'll talk about that. That printout is, a new loader. It's the only one I have. We'll based on that here in a little bit, so. First of all, number one, brush pickup, still, through the summer, it's gonna be the second and last Monday of the month. You may have seen us out there today. We did pick up some of the bigger piles due to the fact that we wanted the city clean for Memorial Day weekend. But it will be the following Tuesday, we will pick up again, so. We like to get it cleaned up before the holiday weekend. Vehicle maintenance, we've done a bunch of stuff that we could do in-house. We replaced a bunch of hubs in our plow trucks. They were leaking pretty bad. That was something that I'm sure from the salt and so on and so forth. We've had some hydraulic hoses we replaced, so on and so forth. So, you know, we take care of the pickup trucks, we've changed all the things there. So, any questions on that? Concrete work, we helped John with the parks, with the kayak, that little building that went up, we helped him pour that slab. We've done a bunch of curbs for wastewater, the ones that were busted out from the water main breaks or water shut off problems or whatever, so that has been concluded. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen a lot of the manholes throughout town that have been either lowered or fixed. What happens is we have, if you understand the manhole part of it, they're built up with bases, and then there's rings that go up to the manhole itself. These rings were made out of concrete, so what happens over the years, they deteriorate. Okay, so what we did is many years ago, probably about at least 6-7 years ago, we went to plastic rings, which when I contacted Madison, that's all they do now, and it's been unbelievable. We've pulled a few that have been replaced 5, 6, 7 years ago. You can't tell they've even been there. So that has been amazing. So that's what we do. We do now. We take the cement rings, we pull them out, and we put these plastic ones back in, and they're actually a warranty of about 50 years. So I think all our new street projects, I think we're going to those. So they work fantastic. Any questions on that?
Yeah, they're probably a lot more cost effective too.
They're more money.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, but they're in the long run, it's.
They put themselves.
Yeah,
Not gonna have to replace it.
and I have enough now to last a long time, so we're in pretty good shape there. Number 5, we have lawn mowing that started. We have, I don't know if anybody realizes how much lawn we actually have to cut. There is a lot of it. So that is a every Friday job for one of our guys. And I know in the past, someone's questioned having some young person do it. I definitely don't want to see that. Some of the areas we cut is very dangerous. So I feel very comfortable with our guys doing it. So that is part of the reason why we never have a part-time person. And like I said, that's every Friday. Potholes, we just got done with that again. We had a one last week that filling potholes. You know, that's a never ending battle. It tends to not be as bad in summer, of course, because we're not plowing, we're not throwing salt down, so on and so forth. So we just finished up with that too. Bulk pickup. I talked to my 2 guys that ran it this weekend. It was crazy. We filled 6 dumpsters. We also have a pile of stuff out there yet that we have to take care of tomorrow. I mean, we couldn't get it all in the dumpsters that we had, so it's piled up like, I don't know, there's gotta be 20 couches and so on and so forth. So
The typical.
no, this one was, we've never had to get more dumpsters. So we filled 6 of them. This is the first time I've ever seen it where we did not have to, that we have to get more dumpsters in. So we just piled it on a pile. So
How many more dumpsters?
I'm hoping 2 is gonna take care of it. So
So is that an added cost then, or
that
is
will
that,
be an added cost.
you know what that is per dumpster?
Oh, I'm not sure offhand. I know they give us, we do have it, I'm not positive, I have to look at it.
And no problems. Out of numbers.
Well, no, I'd like to thank Greg Justman for, I mean, Greg sat down there all day. I appreciate that. He checked residency. So I'd like to say thank him. He volunteered to do that, so I thought that was very nice. Any more questions on that? Electronic recycling, that is where we can bring TVs, radios, so on and so forth. That is gonna be on July 22nd. That is out at Taylor Field. It is from 8 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So anybody that's got any recycling, now this is just TVs, electronics. There's a flyer that I do believe is on the website. So I think we have that in. It's not like aluminum cans and stuff like that. It's your basic, like TVs, radios.
Like the tools and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a price list too.
Yes, there is. It's all, it should all be up on the website. This is the big one here. This is the thing that's, that hurts this year. We had a 1995 loader repaired. It died on us when we were behind wastewater moving some dirt. It cost me $26,400. I only have a budget of maintenance for $28,000. So this pretty much backed up my whole budget for the year without anything else that we have to do. So I just want you guys to be prepared that I'm gonna be over budget in my maintenance. There's really not a whole lot I can do about it. It's something I think we have to look in the future to raise. I mean, we're talking 5 plow trucks, 2 3/4-ton plow trucks, bucket truck, a loader, 2 loaders, a backhoe. I mean, 28,000 doesn't get you very far. So I think it's something we definitely have to look into down the road. I do have a price of a new loader that is something we should seriously consider. I mean, this one is a 1995. It's seen its day. And we've stuck 34,000 in 2 years ago in it. Now we took another 26,000.
What was wrong with it this time? Transmission?
It was something with the transmission. There's baffles and all kinds of stuff there that I'm not mechanical. I mean, we were able to keep it local, which they definitely saved some money, but, so that one chewed up a lot of money.
So Jack, down the road, if we need to get a new one. Or a new used one. Do you have any idea what we could use this one as a trade-in?
We definitely can. I've talked to the people and met with them and they will definitely take it as a trade. Yeah.
Did you have any idea what they were gonna offer for it?
They didn't say anything. They said if we get to that point, they'll definitely let me know.
Crap.
No, I mean, I think we do okay on it. I mean, they seem to be able, and that's the trouble with buying used. I know we talk used, but I don't want to be in the same boat I am with the one I have, so. And if leasing is an option, I have that on there. So, I mean, it's something we can think about, so. Cause I also have to have my bucket truck. That is another thing I have to have. That's gotta go in every year for inspection. And that food can be anywhere from 3,000 to 10,000. Hopefully it's never, I mean, 1 year it was a little over 12,000. Because there's stuff that has to be fixed and it's,
This mainly for the food. Right?
that's very, that's not mechanical, it's just the boom part. And it's getting more expensive.
How old was that?
I mean, that's getting up there. I'm not overly concerned about that, though. That bucket truck's still in pretty good shape. We also, I mean, it's just skip one here. The diggers, it's been super busy. I know we got some projects on Clark Street again, so we have fiber optic coming in there, so we've been busy with diggers all over town again. So that's always a busy thing. Number 11, boot tires, so this is a part that this is part of my budget thing, because, I'm looking at about $11,000 for new backhoe tires and new loader tires for our newest model. We are pretty small. So I just want to make sure that when you see my budget item for maintenance, that we're aware of what is out there, and this is, if I wouldn't have had the 26,000, I would have been okay. So,
So it's 4 tires all the way around on the loader?
yes,
Okay, and then rear tires for the.
rear and front, rear and front.
Yeah, okay, 4 tires, all right, 3 tires all the way around.
This is a company that'll come to our shop, so I don't have to try hauling this stuff out. They'll do it by us, and they do a really good job. So. But that is stuff that, and he told me that tires are like gasoline. So the sooner we get it, the better. The longer we wait, he said it could be, it's crazy. I'm still waiting for a light bulb that I ordered 7 months ago. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Just real quick, Jack. And at least on that loader.
Yep.
You got 250 hours, 500 hours, 1,000 hours. What would be your want? What's the need?
I would like 1,000. We use them a lot. And then we use them for snow, we use them for.
Oh, yeah, they're always.
They're out every day on
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
That was my question. Thank you.
I would like to also thank our guys. We've been working really shorthanded. We had one guy take a different job, so it took a while to hire him. Now we had Steve Elvis, who I'd like to thank a lot for 28 great years. Tough to replace experience. And I really do appreciate everything he did for us. And our guys picked up. I have another guy coming in on the 31st. I asked him to come in early, so he's already in place. And our guys did a heck of a job picking up our side. I'd like to thank them very much. Thank you.
Can I pick up the
Very good.
load? You've got 2 loaders here.
Yeah,
Which one do you recommend?
I would go with the more expensive because it's bigger. It's more like our 544 and John Deere. The smaller one, I could help us out a lot. They shot 2 prices in. Yep, I think it's that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, thank you.
Excuse me, Jack.
Yeah.
Is this Kelby Brothers the only ones?
That's the only one I got that got back to me so far. And the thing about these guys is they do business with other companies in this town, and everyone's been really happy with them. So I will definitely try to get another price. I mean, it's not something we're rushing into,
Right.
so I will have another price from another company.
Right. Very good. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
That's it.
Thanks, Jack.
There's no other questions. Public park report, Josh.
Start out with buildings. Buildings and shelters have been really good. The rentals for them. Everything's been really picking up the weather, getting nice out, and sports, and yes, everything's getting busy right now. All the final repairs to the plumbing of all our seasonal buildings have been completed. The parts all finally came in, able to get that finished. Kayak building, if you drive by the river heading out of town on 67, you can see the building going up. That is about 75% done. It's being built and put together by the Mayville Cardinal or Mayville Manufacturing High School. They're doing it and finishing it up, and it's a rotary project. And the kayak launch and kayaks will be in by this weekend, for holiday weekend. So. Any questions for buildings at all? All right, grounds, all parks, looks like I mentioned a bit about the weather getting nice and getting to the end of the school year. All of our parks and facilities are becoming very busy. The fireman's field upgrades and the field itself has been completed, turned out really well, really needed it. Dan, he's our one part-time guy right now in the parks, doing a great job keeping up with some of the mowing and trimming. Next week, we are gonna be getting our summer help in. If you drive down on Main Street and by the senior center, all our flowers were put in today. I have to thank Fox Dan, the Master Garden of Dodge County, few volunteers, and then Dawn from Main Street Maple, myself, we were all worked hard to get all the flowers in. The poles for the lights at Ziegler Park, I was contacted by the company that's putting them in the end of June to beginning of July. Those will be in, and they're gonna start right away with getting the lights installed. That'll be really nice. The new pickleball courts from another Rotary project are on track. Next week, the grant work is gonna be, the grant paperwork is gonna be done by the Rotary. Once they find out if the grant went through or not, then I'll be presenting the project to the park board and to the council for okay, and for approval. But once you have another Rotary project, so they're really involved in the city. So, any questions on grounds? And last, I just have the senior center report, and it's always very simple. It's the weekly cards and bingo, continue to draw good numbers down there. They are picking up members. So the senior center has been busy, and rentals at the senior center have been really busy. For some reason, the last couple of years, weekend rentals have been really picking up. So it's good, it helps offset some of the costs down there. Any questions for anyone? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Item number 8. Items of discussion, possible action, discuss with possible action, needed repairs on DPW equipment.
Just talk about.
I guess we just,
I think he covered it in his
yeah,
reporting.
probably
Yeah,
need tires,
he put
I
on.
think we'll just have to, we're gonna have to look to see where we can find some money for that. That's outside the budget, correct?
Yeah, so I think next month after we get the audit, and then we'll have a better idea where we're at as far as fund balance. And you'll really be more of a direction.
Right.
Do you want to
You could,
table it?
Month, maybe.
Table?
Or if I could say, you could refer it on to finance committee for next month, which will be a meeting of the whole. That would be an acceptable motion.
You'll get a motion for that.
Make a motion to move the finance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can I get a motion for adjournment, please?
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:46.
Thank you. I get a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Adjourned, 6:45.
Thanks, Jack.
Order the personnel committee. Roll call
Alderperson Michael Schmidt,
here.
Alderperson Roger Smith,
Here.
Alderperson Jack Abbott.
Here.
Approval of the April 24th personnel committee meeting minutes.
So move. I'll second the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Item number 3, citizen comments. Hearing none. Item 1 here. Discussed with possible action the resignation of the comptroller treasurer. Next steps for replacement and or restructure and timeline involved.
So, we have 2 weeks' notice from our comptroller treasurer. And, you know, when we originally got the resignation, she has been working arduously to continue forward the process to help, get our audits completed. there have been lots of discussions inside City Hall in terms of what's the best approach to stabilizing and improving the operations. You know, with Angie's departure, with all of the tasks that have been identified, certainly an idea that has come up is to explore adding a city administrator. There'd be some key advantages if that city administrator had a engineering background. But I don't know if we'll necessarily be able to find that. I do think that there's a case to be made for bringing in engineering back in-house, since we're spending about $150,000 a year for outsourcing engineering services. But in any case, right now, you know, the key components are we got to keep payroll going. Because we have a holiday this weekend, the next payroll is going to be a little bit of a bear. Angie will help guide us through that. You'll help with this next payroll. And in the meantime, we need to be looking for, you know, we've got to post a job for a comptroller treasurer. We are in a little bit of a bind because frankly, with all of the PR and the negative PR that Mayville's been receiving of late because of the recent history and mistreatment of the staff, things be really difficult to find somebody, attract talent to come to Mayville. And if you look at the specialized skill set that we're looking for, understand that even MEC can't hire people with appropriate talent and skills to handle, you know, these significant administrative functions. So I think in the interim, we can kind of stem the bleeding by leveraging Sikich, the audit firm. They do have staff augmentation services. We will be able to keep things moving. And while working with Sikich, they'll be able to identify process improvements and implement the checklists and procedures and all the things that we've been discussing for several months that need to happen, so that we don't find ourselves in this spot again. So my recommendation to the committee would be to entertain a proposal from Sikich, and also make a recommendation to the council to post a job for comptroller treasurer. And we will kind of begin working the network and see what we can find there. I do have another option, and that is MSA, which is our audit firm that works specifically with water and wastewater. Joe is our contact with MSA. He's got some municipal contacts, and they're actually firms that could help us with interim assistance as well. So if we wanted to name an interim comptroller treasurer, you know, there are resources out there. So, and that might be a good approach because we'll be able to stabilize things, kind of restore process and function, and then go longer term in terms of recruiting for a long-term solution. Those would be my recommendations for the committee.
Do we have anything else?
Do we have any it's almost on the side, because we've got to do what we got to do with the cost. How these, how they structure the term comptroller treasurer.
So Angie's done some research. There is
I'm talking about the interim one.
oh, the interim ones, yes. So I've got some proposals from Sikich that may cover some of that, and I can get more detail from speaking with Sikich tomorrow. But Angie's got another resource. She's done some research and she'll share that with the committee as well.
So just to give you an idea, if you want to go city administrator, so the packet city administrators
Okay.
and the packets comptroller treasurers.
Okay.
These are open, I just pulled these are open positions around the state, but so you know idea what those all entail. So you understand. There. So one of the things we've talked about since I've been here is it's very apparent that you're missing a city administrator. Now, I know it sounds costly, but it's just very apparent that you're missing a city administrator. And I think a lot of your restructuring, you know, you're just gonna continue to struggle until you staff appropriately. You know, so typically your city administrators either come from, you know, either a public administration background, an engineering background, or a finance background. So that's kind of why I pulled both information, so you can kind of get a feel for what you think you want or can do. But just keep in mind, when we're saying this now, even in my role, if you think, you know, well, hey, if we happen to get a city administrator that has a finance background, one person's not gonna be able to handle all of that work and my job too, so there's gonna be other things, you know, even if you find that skill level, there's more than 40 hours or 50 hours of work a week. So just something to keep in mind, but if you look at the budget, then we'll look at next month, what you have for controller treasurer. And then we're talking about what it costs us to outsource engineering, you know, if you kind of pull both those monies and see what you have out there. It's pretty competitive right now. So if you were gonna advertise, I would probably advertise for both administrator and controller treasurer, you know, and see what you get. I wouldn't start with one and then see, I would probably throw them both out there. But that's just my recommendation.
Well,
Thank you for the information.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for keeping us together during your term here. We're gonna miss you. We're gonna have to have a special meeting somewhere along the line, because we're gonna have to come up with an ad for the paper. Yeah. Just exactly what are we gonna look for? Are we gonna go to the city administration? That's gonna be awful expensive.
Yeah.
Other control treasurer, we're gonna have to do a hunt for that. For those. So.
So you did say the city engineer right now, is that
I mean, on average, in the last
150?
150, I think, in the last 3 years, 150, 123.
Something like, well, some of that was probably project cost for Bridge Street and different things.
That was a high year,
So,
150.
yeah. And it would alleviate all of those.
An administrator would taking care of this?
Some, or depending on if you found somebody with that background, it wouldn't alleviate it all. When you do have a big project, you would still have to outsource the specific engineering on those projects.
Where I think a city administrator and or engineer in-house is going to be able to help the city is going to be in identifying funding sources for projects. I mean, we have had things slip through the cracks. I can tell you on the Bridge Street project, and I think it's just because there's so much to juggle and so much to handle without having a full-time city administrator, but we had we had submitted an intent to apply for a principal forgiveness loan, $500,000. By the way, we have a very good track record with water and wastewater with these forgiveness loans, right? So we essentially fund a project and then we provide paperwork and they give us money back. On the Bridge Street project, we had submitted an intent to apply $500,000. And it slipped through the cracks and we instead decided to bond the entire project. And we can't go back. When these are the types of things, when we look at cost and expense, understand if we clearly articulate what the expectation is, you know, those types of administrative things are going to be a net gain to the city. And those are the types of things that need to be considered. Not just the cost in salary, but what's the outcome for the city?
Well, like I say, we'll have to have a meeting soon
Yeah,
to get the ball rolling on this thing, because we gotta replace her. There's no doubt about that.
this weekend's a holiday weekend, with any, I mean, I'd love to do it next week. We need to do it next week. I'll reach out to everybody. Is there anyone here who can't do it next week? I guess I would ask. And I'm thinking Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday you can or cannot? Wednesday. You can, all right. Anybody not able to do it next Wednesday night?
Is that including all of us?
Yeah. We'll do a meeting on the whole,
Yeah.
6 PM Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
So we're talking,
31st.
okay,
All right, we'll get it noticed.
Jack Abbott, did you say Wednesday you cannot do it?
He said he
It's
can.
going to be graduation 8th grade.
Oh, you have graduation. What time is that?
Wednesday, 6.
6. Oh, how about Thursday of next week?
That'd be better for me. I thought we have a lot of 8th graders on.
I have.
I could do it Tuesday.
Thursday, I'm gone also,
Okay,
and Friday, I'm gone.
tis the season.
Tuesday, be jolly.
All right, how about Tuesday? Is anybody opposed to Tuesday?
June 2nd,
No, that, Tuesday, is that the 30th?
30.
Yeah, 30th.
I can make that work.
Okay.
I do not have graduation.
Okay. Tuesday, May 30th, 6 PM, we'll get it noticed. It'll be a job description. And I'll also, let's put, signage proposal on there for review. I'll work with you on the agenda.
so why do you want to use Siggers?
It's one of two options that I know of for an interim staff augmentation. That's an immediate fix. That's to keep the lights on while we're searching for someone.
There's some place that I was told about that fills these positions.
We have one of those as well. Our recruiting firm,
No, not just correct.
yeah,
You know,
we have those options as well.
Baker Tilly, are you referring to Jack?
no. No, I think,
Baker Tilly no longer has it.
Illinois or something.
Yeah.
What's that?
I don't remember the name. I have to.
So let's just, we will make sure we have the agenda structured in a way that we'll discuss these options. We'll put it on for 6 PM on Tuesday.
Good. Okay. Item number 2, discuss with possible action necessary changes to the phone system for remote work capability.
We had discussed this, the month prior. Our phone systems are having some issues doing the voicemail to email function. I did get some information from Mitel. In the meantime, I've also had our IT guys reach out to us. They now do phones as well, and they said they would like the option to be able to come in and speak to you all about what they can offer. They did tell me Mitel was bought out by Ring, and Ring, like the camera people, and they have been hearing people have had increasing problems with Mitel in the meantime. So I don't know if you guys would want to hear from the IT people. Again, this voicemail to email function isn't critical. I mean, our phones are still working, but they are aging, and it is something, that may want to be addressed in the future.
Would it make sense to, put out an RFP to 3 different vendors?
Would be a good suggestion.
And then we can deliberate once we have the proposals. Okay.
$200, that's one thing, we're talking thousands, that's another.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably, yeah, so let's
Probably the latter.
figure out let's figure out some options. So somebody, I guess, on the committee, if you'd like to make a motion to that effect, we'll send it to RFP.
I do have one question. This is for remote work capability and all I heard was voice to email.
Well, I mean, I think that, that's the only scenario I can really think of. If you're out in the field and somebody calls your extension and it forwards to your email, an email notification to your mobile device.
We don't have many throughout the city who I believe work remotely. But more, when I was getting that information from Mitel, the more pressing issue seems to be that the phones are aging. We have it, you know, they want to talk to me about upgrading them and I don't.
You're a salesman.
I know, but I would say. at
They
the-
are, yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, the question is, our phone system inside City Hall works.
Yeah,
It just has no bells and whistles.
correct.
So we don't have to do anything.
No,
That's another.
Seems like we might
Important
have-
things.
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
It can
You
be
know, so
gathered.
we don't have to, we can keep going with what we have.
Okay,
Just,
I mean, has it,
that's the
has it-
information
has
I
it caused
collected.
any problem?
no,
I mean, any crisis?
it has not.
So I say we
Great suggestion.
table that
All
for
right.
next year,
Indefinite.
year after, whatever.
Sounds like a motion.
Is that a motion there?
Yes. I will make the motion to table this for an indefinite amount of time.
Until the stuff, phone stuff, which
Tell the phone stop working. Yes, great answer. Was that a second?
I'll second it.
Okay,
all in favor?
I,
Right.
wonderful.
Discuss with possible action, updating the employee handbook.
Is there anything still looming that needs to be updated in the handbook?
I went through it and I see some things that need to be updated, so I think we should have like a work study or a work group with all of us to address this.
I think, wasn't there a list of things that the department heads?
Yeah,
It's in the agenda packet
Came up
and I'd be happy to send a copy out to the new older people who haven't.
Could you do that, please?
Absolutely.
Just so that
all right.
All right, I would suggest we table this to a later date too.
Okay.
So that we can all update ourselves on
Sure.
the current handbook and what needs to be done with it.
I'll make a motion to table this until we have more information.
Do you want me to push it out to June, July's meeting maybe?
July.
There's no.
Commit to please reading the packet and suggestions in advance of.
Give a second.
We're getting the stuff from,
I will
the
second
IT
it.
guys can work on the computer, so they'll have their laptops, and
Okay.
that should be much easier.
Is there a second?
Been moved, yes.
Okay.
Mr. Smith here.
July timeframe.
It's been moved and seconded, all in favor? To table this till July or August. Aye. Item number 5, adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, public safety is Michael.
Call to order, Public Safety Committee, roll call, please.
Alderperson Michael Schmidt,
Here,
Alderperson Kimmelson. Here. Alderperson Ken Newman.
Here.
I don't think it is.
It's you, Kim Olson, and Ken Newman.
Am I assuming it were you at the last meeting on April 24th? Yep.
I think I zoomed that one.
Pardon?
I think I zoomed it. I was here, yeah, but
Okay,
not physically.
is there anybody that would like to approve the April 24th public safety meeting minutes?
I'll move to approve the April 24th minutes.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Citizen comments for public safety. Hearing none. Monthly EMS report.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Always.
Oh. Okay, just a couple of things. Calls for service, we're still busy, hence why I'm not there tonight. We had pretty busy afternoon. So we're just keep moving forward with that. Staffing update, we're doing great. We did have 2 inactive members step down last week. So you know, we always accept people who are licensed, or at least we talk to them and kind of see where we're at, but we're doing a great job. I'm not sure if you guys saw our picture in the paper, but you can see we have a pretty large group of EMTs. So we are very, very blessed as a city. Which kind of leads me into the training update and miscellaneous, as it is EMS week this week. So we're focusing on that. We're really reaching out to the community with doing CPR classes. We're doing something new this year that we're going to be doing coffee with EMS at the open door on Thursday, just to kind of be there for the public so that they can see us, ask us questions. And then we'll kind of push some of our EMT classes coming up because we've just been getting such great feedback from that. Fundraising and equipment, we do have our annual golf outing coming up on July 22nd. So please, if you guys want to golf, please come out. It should be beautiful. So, because it's July. Equipment wise, our 2951 had to go in for some necessary repairs. So it was out for approximately 2 weeks. We still did a great job covering our territory and supporting our neighbors. It's back in service, so all 3 ambulances are back and ready to go. Do you guys have any questions for me?
One for me.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Item number 5, monthly fire department report.
Good evening. Chief Marks and Deputy Chief John Boris are both out of town tonight, so I'm here for them. So try to go through everything. You are, yep, I'm the Assistant Chief Mike Dorson.
Hi, Mike.
How's it going? Good, good. Okay, talk about our equipment update. We had some repairs that were done last week to one of our engines that had come up. John has talked about in the past about the lift cylinder repairs, replacement that has started. So now we're cycling. The one came back, or the one had arrived, and the repair was made. So now we're going to cycle those through. We do have our annual preventative maintenance and pump tests that'll be starting, I believe, in the next week and into June. So all of our apparatus will be checked, inspected, and tested. So they're going to work through that. So we'll find out if that's point to any deficiencies or repairs that need to be made. We'll keep you updated on that. And then any questions on equipment or anything?
How big are those cylinders?
I saw the one and they are probably about 3 inches in diameter. They extend out about, I believe, that was like 20 to 22 inches. It looked like, from what I could tell.
That's on the full cab.
Yep, yeah, there's two per engine on that. So we're gonna work through that as they get rebuilt. We'll do one, might take up to, however many months in between. So we'll make sure all that gets done. As far as staffing, we are at currently 19. With that, if I got the numbers correctly, we had 3 of our members completed the firefighter 2 testing and the practical, and I believe all of them had passed. And then we had 1 that had finished up, the instructor, emergency services instructor, certified and passed. And then 1 who completed the aerial test and practical, and he did the pumper operator at the same time, he did both. So I believe that we've had that, so we've got some members that are highly skilled, highly certified, which is one of the few in the county that do this with that. So we're there. And then as far as fire calls, we have been extremely busy. We've had 13 since our last meeting. We had 5 last Monday alone. So we were quite busy with that. We had 3 fire alarms since last meeting. We assisted Kikoski for a structure fire. We had 2 motor vehicle accidents during this time, 3 EMS assists during this time, 1 for a landing zone that was from EMS. We were dispatched down Hustisburg for a Mavis event to assist them, 1 grass fire outside the city, and then we actually had a equipment fire at one of the local factories. So we were busy. So, any questions on anything fire fund? Okay, yeah, well, thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mike.
Item number 6. Please speak on that report.
Evening. I'm Chief Ryan Cutler. Calls for service right now, we're 138 calls above what we were last year. The summer's picking up, but it's getting pretty busy. We're keeping up though, we're still 1 officer short who's on a workman's comp. It still looks like it's gonna be a couple of months yet. The program's ongoing. It's gonna be a little while yet for that, but the officers are covering it and everything's getting done. Equipment wise, and I guess building wise, everything's good to go. We're on schedule and in budget with all that. I want to thank everybody for all the gifts of goodies and everything else they brought in last week for police week. My belt hardly fits this week, but I'll work on that, I guess. I guess I also want to take this time to thank Angie for all the help you've given me and my department over the last couple of months. It's been wonderful, and I wish you the best. Any questions?
Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Item 7, other item of discussion for possible action, discuss recommended approval for liquor, fermented beverage license renewal applications, licensing for the period of July 1st to June 30th next year.
Annual liquor license renewal. They start here, then with approve the recommended to council and they're reviewed there as well. They've been posted, we have all the paperwork from them. Everyone who's been there before, Jody's Hideout did not renew, but they are leasing to individuals, Brian and Ashley Schaefer. We're in the process of getting their occupancy permits, can be called the Resting Nest. So that license will be used just under new owners. So they're on that list. Yeah, it's all the paperwork's gone to the PD. They're doing their review,
Sure.
going inside and checking. Mhm.
You need a motion to move it to the council?
Mhm.
I make a motion to move the council.
I'll second the motion. Moved and seconded to move to council, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Item number 8, adjournment. I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Finance meeting of the whole.
So the finance committee meeting at 7:17 on May the 22nd. Call to order, roll call.
All right, we have Alderperson Roger Smith,
Aye.
Alderperson Joseph Tillman,
Here.
Alderperson Ken Newman,
Here.
Alderperson Kim Olson, Alderperson Jack Abbott.
Here.
Can I get a approval of the minutes from April 24th, 2023, finance committee meeting minutes?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes. April 24th.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, tax center
Citizen comments?
oh, sorry, citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments? Thank you. No citizen comments, moving on to item 5. Tax center report.
Michaela forwarded me her reports. She is out sick with strep throat right now, so she decided not to come visit us.
That's good you didn't come.
Yeah. So for the
That's a
pay,
good excuse.
it is. She did not have any update on the membership report. For the staffing update, she said they are running severely short on lifeguards and swim lesson instructors. Many pools in the surrounding areas are very short-staffed on lifeguards as well, regardless of the pay. So she's trying to look into different incentive policies and programs to reward the lifeguards that do show up for their scheduled shifts. With regards to maintenance, air handling unit number 3, they recently have been having difficulty keeping the heat controlled in both the men's and the women's locker room. They called NAMI and the technician came on site on May 8th. They diagnosed a leak of the HW 3-way valve actuator, and stated it needs to be replaced. They sent a proposal of $2,185 plus tax for parts and labor. The parts were ordered on May 10th. Lopez Roofing came on May 15th to repair the leaks on the roof. They're going to try that first to see if that solves the roofing issues they've been having. With regards to recreation, summer recreation is underway. Men's and women's softball games started last week. There was a great turnout for both days. Their summer program guide will be ready right before Memorial Day. This will have their full schedule, list of activities and classes they offer at the Take Center. She said, if you have any questions on any of this, feel free to email her or call her work cell.
Thank you. Item number 6, treasurer's report.
My report this week, I was hoping to have the updated budget numbers, and we have all the audit entries in, and they thought they were able to, research and rectify the issues in the cash allocations. The 400,000 we're off. I did the entries. We're still off about 120,000. And so I sent it back to the auditors. They were looking at it Friday, and then I haven't heard back yet. So rather than pull all the information, I was hoping to have all the information to you, so then when he gave you the audit, you could have a better idea, but I can't go back in that system now after they pulled it. I can't do any other updating, and then, so I'll have to present that with June, and so June will probably be a long and a little bit longer meeting if he gives you the audit. So they were under the impression what they gave me should have resolved all the issues, but after I did all the entries, we were still off some, so we're back and still trying to figure that out. So.
Might I ask a question?
Yep.
So when they give you the entries, do they give you an explanation so that you understand what, why, and how it's supposed to impact things?
Some things are lumped together, probably more than I like. I could probably request information, and you can probably ask Baker Tilly to give you that, but a lot of the entries, you know, for our sake, because actually typing these in, it's literally like 30 some pages. And with the age of the software, I can't import now until the upgrade, so it's all manually typing in. But they should be able to give us that detail if we request that. But a lot of times it is lumped together just for the purpose of.
When the new software supposed to be up and running?
We're hoping in August.
Okay, so it's way down yet, so we're still dealing with the old system.
So it's on the new server.
Yeah.
So it isn't timing out as much, but it's still the old
Still the
version.
software.
It's still the old.
What is the delay? I mean, why so far out? Didn't we start this months ago?
Just the changeover in this office and their timing. They schedule these conversions out for almost a year in advance. And then it got pushed off with the turnover with the last people, and then they didn't do it. And then we pushed it off once with the server issue because we didn't have the right server. So now we're out to August.
Sorry, go ahead. Were you saying more, Jack? Sure. The reconciliation of the $400,000, are you satisfied that it makes sense? What they've done so far?
I would say probably, I would let the auditors try to explain it better. So what we reconcile to the cash that we have in the bank, but then when you move it around in the accounting software, depending on which fund it flows in and out of, there's been issues there. So whether it's software related or somebody at some point was doing an entry they didn't understand, you know, that's where we're having to figure out and, you know, research those and back those out.
I guess I'd like to, I mean, I get it, you are where you are, but I would like to hear from Baker Tilly a better explanation of how are they reconciling? I mean, it's, you don't just pull $400,000 out of thin air. There's something going on here.
Is one waiting for the other? Is Sickage? Are they waiting for Baker Tilly?
They really, yeah, Sickage really has not been able to look at much because there really isn't much to look at this point. We have to finish this audit. And then once we finish this audit, you know, and then if you guys have more questions, like, hey, we do want somebody to look more in depth into what this was or why this happened, you know, then Sickage or whoever can look at that. But like right now, they're not really looking at anything.
I guess I'm misunderstanding.
I have not had them looking at hardly anything because at this point, it's kind of such a mess. And then until we get this part cleaned up and we figure out which direction we want to go. No, it's not like they haven't been. It's too much of a mess for me to even find something for them to focus on at this point.
So we have not really spent $1 on Sickage at this juncture.
We have not.
Other than a few discussions, but not very much at all.
Tell me if this is too much of a rabbit trail, but one of the things I think about is, you know, it'd be really nice if we could draw a line across the book, and say, okay, this is where we're at today. We know that some things messed up in the past. But I don't know if we can even legally do that.
I mean, at some point you're going to have to, but at the same time where it becomes a bit problematic, you know, more in my position is, it's one thing to say that, but then as things come up, you know, in different groups, organizations say, you know, well, hey, didn't I have, you know, the CDA, didn't we have money left over from last year? Well, then I go digging. Well, did we? I don't know, you know, and then where there are, you know, if it was out of the tip, well, then there's different restrictions, you know, regarding that. So if at some point you have to say something along the line, the last few years started getting off, you know, and we're off more than we thought, and we have to put that against your equity at some point. then there has to be discussions as to who has less than where they thought.
I guess kind of what I'm driving at is, I don't think anyone would want to spend $400,000 to find $400,000.
Yeah.
That's an extreme,
Yep.
but the other part of it is obviously when you did adhere to state statute, and I don't know what the state statute says about something like this.
So what I would propose is, I mentioned the month of June where we're gonna start seeing some audit results, but what I wanna do is have Sickich address the council in terms of, what they've observed and what they see, both from a system standpoint, procedurally and otherwise, process improvements that we need to have made. The Baker Tilly situation, I mean, they've been working with Mayville for 20 some odd years, right? Later in time, let's call it 2020, right? COVID year or otherwise, where we started having staffing issues. Baker Tilly was doing so much work and inputting stuff into our accounting system that it's compounded over time. Now they're really kind of auditing their own work. So our 2021 audit, there were 87 adjustments made, like during the audit process, to kind of back things out and correct errors that were made during the year. And it's just, continued to snowball. What we ultimately really need to do is Baker Tilly's our annual auditor. They need hands off the books. They should not be in our accounting system during the year like they have been. I think their annual billing to Baker Tilly is horrendous. So if we straighten things out and start putting these processes that have been recommended to us over time, it's gonna end up saving the city money.
Yeah, it's troubling, and this is not a directed at Angie here. It's just troubling that it's such a mess that month after month we don't know where we're at, anything to hang our hat on.
What we do have, however, so 2 weeks ago, you sent your department head reports out.
So I have been sending out the department heads, their budget reports, because what's coming in is pretty much correct, and what they're spending should pretty much be correct. And we've been telling them, go ahead, take a look at it. Let me know if you've seen where the software, so we were having issues where it was doubling up on things. So asking them, please let me know if they've noticed anything. So as far as their month-to-month spending, they have an idea where we're at.
Which is
More
an
of
improvement,
what,
and that's an improvement over what we had before.
For sure.
so I've been trying to consistently do that. And we were able to kind of watch and know where the software was having issues when it was updating, and kind of narrow down, so we knew where to kind of look. But as far as what we don't know is when you're talking about your fund balances and things like that going forward, and out of the actual cash that you have, whose is it really? Is it utilities? Is it the city?
And that's
The different
primarily
areas.
related to the software issues still.
I wouldn't say that. That could be just accounting issues, but that's what Baker Tilly is working through, like out of the cash, how is it being allocated properly? But so as far as the budget, the department heads haven't seen their budgets. And I think I put it out in March. So, that's pretty close on. And I'll pull it again as soon as I can get back in the system, so I can send those out.
I think at a high level, it would be good if we
Yeah.
could at least review with department head budgets to ascertain, how well they're doing as far as their budget goes.
How many years ago did these irregularities start to surface?
I wouldn't know what to say, but I know the last couple years of your audits, there have, Baker Tilly did note in there some serious questions and concerns
Auditor didn't know?
No, they did.
Oh, they
It
did?
was in there, yes, and it was discussed with, finance committee, so they have been making Mayville aware that, there was some accounting deficiencies. But what I was saying, with the staffing turnover, from what I've seen from the comptroller office to the clerk office to utilities, that really 2016 was like the last year that all three were working on consistent information. And then you kind of had turnover, and every time you have turnover, you lose a little something. And when you talk about as much turnover that we've had in those three roles, people are kind of working on different information, and that's what is more than, I could do or one person could do to correct all that, so it's been 8 years of slowly deteriorating. So it's gonna take time to build it back up.
It just amazes me that Baker Tilly keeps auditing us, but yet they don't know where it's going. I don't understand this at all.
It's different. I'll let them explain, because I don't wanna say something wrong, but auditing looks at a lot of times at different things than what people think. It actually looks at, they don't look at your day-to-day transaction. So Baker Tilly has, they don't know when something happens, like if it goes through the utility department, to the clerk's office, to the comptroller, and who does what entries and how the information flows. That really has nothing to do with them. They're just looking at very specific information. So when I say, like these internal spreadsheets that we use and things like that, they wouldn't know. They don't have anything to do with a lot of what I'm talking about that we don't have.
We, for, I don't know, the 2 years prior, were doing many things outside of Excel. We were using Excel spreadsheets. Like 6 versions of an Excel spreadsheet, maybe 1 quadrant of each was valid live information. So we're doing this in the aggregate, right? It just wasn't an effective way to manage and monitor things. So as I say, if we look at a timeline, what I think is feasible and realistic, if June is the reporting month where we talk with the auditors, we identify, here's what all the problems are, here's where we are today. Then we can lay out, okay, here's a game plan, and here's how we can get things corrected and have things on track. And I think that it's feasible to think that by year end, right, a 6-month process, we can get the work done and start fresh in January 1, knowing not only if the software is good and operating efficiently, but you're getting the reports you need. I'm getting the reports I need. Department heads are getting the reports they need. And we have a solid understanding of our cash flow and everything else, and we can make good decisions for the city. I mean, that's the vision, that's the objective. And I think it'll take us about 6 months to get there. Took it longer than that to break it.
So listening as a new alder person
Sure.
and a chairperson of the council, instead of what the city hears, what our constituents hear is 400,000, and it's like, look at this crystal ball, where'd all this money go? It's not that someone was taking it and, going down a quick trip and getting it out. It's where it was entered into the software comptroller programs where money came from. And rest assured, you said, Angie, sorry, what happened to you beforehand? You said, quote, not much to look at. There's really not much to look at. I really don't want to build this up bigger than it is and cause more tumult in the city.
Yeah.
Which we shouldn't, but we need to effectively monitor it and find it. And like you said, we're 120 off, right? 120 off, is that what?
That's where, yeah, the last.
So we got that 120 sitting there kind of going, all right, where's this gotta go? Baker Tilly, Michael said, for years, here's where you're off, here's where you're off, here's where you're off. This needs to be reconciled, this needs to be reconciled. Might not have been done. I don't know, I wasn't the comptroller.
We had periods of time.
So
Prior to Angie, we went a year without reconciling accounts.
anything, And if you've ever done your checkbook and dropped out of there, you know, you find your $3.69 for the gallon of milk. I go, hey, that's right, and then you cross it off. So that's where we're at. I don't wanna, you know, make it bigger than it is. So that was it.
So the one thing I just wanted to say, because it's. Somebody had said to me, you know, well, can't you give them an idea of how long is it gonna take you to clean it up? You know, should it be 3 months? Should it be 4 months? You know, and I was getting frustrated, because it's like, well, no, it's gonna be longer than that. Like I said, it's, you know, it's 8 years in the making. But another thing to keep in mind is a lot of what you do in my role in accounting, you only do once a year. It only comes due at certain points throughout the year. So whoever comes in after me, you know, they're gonna keep running into the same roadblocks I've been running into, you know, for report. When you're come into budget season, you know, there's gonna be issues because the spreadsheets we had, there were issues on them, you know, so I'm only fixing things as I'm coming into them. So whoever comes into this role is still gonna be running
They're
into
gonna
these
continue to
issues.
find broken things.
Yeah, they're still gonna continue to find things for the next, you know, 6 months at least. Because you correct them as you go. That's just kind of how accounting works. You know, there's, you know, as the reports I've been filing with the state, you know, if I need to, I'll go back and clean up last year's and then we'll work it out and move forward from here. So just for a more realistic expectation, you know, it doesn't matter how quick or fast or hard somebody works. It's still gonna kind of be a headache for the rest of the year, which unfortunately is gonna be.
I have another call tomorrow afternoon with Sikich to kind of talk about what these term recovery or repair looks like, and I'll be sharing that with the council in the June timeframe as well. And we'll have an idea of, you know, what we need to do, you know, what the issue is really compounded, you know, now we have to find a new contractor, right? So. But again, I think we can do both. It's gonna be a process. It's gonna be a process.
Any other comments, questions, commentary? Thank you, Andrew. Item number 7. Review with possible action ending a 2022 budget, 2023 budget.
So we can just table that, and if I have it by you do your next special meeting, and I can get it printed off, I'll get it to you as soon as.
Just we're open budget right now. We're not,
We are soon going into budget season.
okay,
Yeah, we're getting close. August-ish, we'll start.
okay.
Can I get a motion to table till next, budget review?
Someone, that's so moved.
I will second that.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:40 PM.
Have a good evening.
Yes.